New on AM Extra this morning, this weekend is your chance to take part in an interactive and immersive experience. It's called The Event in downtown Portland. It's a show that organizers say follows the disappearance of Rudy, which could be linked to a close encounter of the third kind.
The third kind. And after the show, you have a chance to hear from bona fide UAP expert Brian Anslinger, an executive producer here at Portland CW, is with us. But he is not just executive producer Brian Anslinger.
That's right.
He is also a professor at Portland Community College covering UAPs and UFOs, and will host a talk after the show. Brian, this is so funny.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me on.
I mean, you know when you have like someone that you work with, your coworkers for the longest time, and then you learn something really cool about them? That happened with this. I'm like, what do you mean you're giving a talk about UFOs? How long have you been looking into unexplained aerial phenomena?
I mean, I've been kind of, I will say, studying it since I was a kid. I think I got into it watching the X-Files, and then just sort of you start reading books and you watch documentaries, and it kind of just spiked in 2017. There was a New York Times article that came out. There were videos released by the Pentagon. It's like, oh my gosh, this stuff I've been reading about is now, it became a little bit more tangible. And then you had witnesses, people coming forward who had investigated this in the government, telling their stories. And I got a chance in my previous life to interview some of one of the pilots who's seen some of these things in the sky, talk to some of the people who are experiencing things they can't explain, and it just kind of took off from there. And yeah, now we're here.
And here you are.
That is so cool.
That's so funny. So, The Event. What is The Event?
So it is this play, Artist Repertory Theater, longtime theater here in town. They have several local playwrights who wrote this great play, which is set in a fictional Oregon logging town. And you've got an aspiring investigative journalist named Misty, and she's trying to unravel the mysterious page 52 problem, which it's a 100-year-old play, play within a play. And for some reason, every time they hit page 52, something mysterious happens. And this time, it involves a queer kid named Rudy, and he vanishes. And the town kind of thinks, oh, maybe he was abducted by aliens. And it takes off from there.
Interesting. Okay, so this will be a really fun production, and then after the show, you'll be sitting down for a panel discussion on UAPs and UFOs. What do you think are some of the most common questions that people tend to have? I'm sure folks bring a lot of questions to your classes too. What do you get asked most frequently about aliens?
I think, one of the things is just what is going on, because there is so much. There's so much really out there.
Yeah.
And you have you have people coming forward. You have on social media. There's a lot of different things, from the really, really wild conspiracy theories to things that are actually happening to people whose lives are affected by what they're experiencing or what they're seeing, and sometimes in a positive light, but sometimes also in a negative light, in a really tragic light. And trying to help people understand, you really have to keep an open mind, and we really have to be acceptable to people who are having these experiences and treat them like they're real human beings, and understand what they're going through is something maybe we can't understand, but it's something we need to at least give them a runway to speak out their feelings and work through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true, and we're learning more. This is coming from the government. This is no longer the stuff of fairy tales.
Right, and who knows what it ultimately might be, but what we're seeing and feeling and experiencing is very real, for those people. So, have you ever seen a UFO or a UAP yourself, something that you cannot explain?
I haven't had a sighting or something like that. I don't really talk about things that I may have happened to me, but I've heard a ton of stories, and I think, if people would, as this topic gets more mainstream, people talk about it a little bit more, they're going to run into people who have things that have happened in their life they can't explain. And hopefully, as we talk about it more, the stigma goes down. That's really why I started this class. And by the way, if you were interested, we still have a few slots available. Google PCC UFO class. It'll come right up. Starts next Wednesday. So
yeah, I was going to ask, because I know the new term is right around the corner.
So.
Online.
And I've seen a few of your lectures. Brian, you're the real deal. We worked together for a story I did on UAPs. You're just the best, dude. Thanks for coming on. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
I appreciate you guys letting me come on in and talk about something I'm passionate about.
Absolutely.
The passion is palpable.
We won't keep you too long though, because I know you got to go work on your show for this morning. So.
Yes.
Yeah, Everyday Northwest, 9 o'clock.
There you go.
Stay
Keep it
tuned.
right here.
There's your
Tune in.
plug.
Brian, thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. And hey, if you want to go check out the event, it's happening this Saturday at 7:30 at the Artists Repertory Theater on Southwest Morrison. Brian's discussion follows that performance. You can find tickets and more info at artistsrep.org.